a boy, a creepy farmer, his horses, and a Steam ban. What happened there? So, for those of you who don't know, a little while back, an indie horror game named Horses dropped. And in the days leading up to its release, both Steam and Epic banned the game from their stores. I got really curious as to why, so I decided to check the game out for myself. I streamed the whole thing in one go. Link should be popping up on screen. There'll also be one in the description below if you want to see for yourself. But to quickly summarize, Horses is a walking simulator in the most stereotypical ways, masquerading as a horror game about a young boy being sent to a farm for 2 weeks to work as a farmhand, where said farmer is a nut job who has been kidnapping people and forcing them to pretend to be his workhorses. Now, obviously, as you can see on screen, since they're stripped naked, much worse than just that is happening to them. And FYI, spoiler, the game is fucking terrible. It has next to no gameplay, and what gameplay there is, and it's either A, padding, or B, a flimsy excuse to say there's gameplay, or C, a combination of the two. And pretty much at every point, the quote-unquote gameplay undercuts the horror and the supposed messaging this game has. Just take, for instance, the initial reveal of the horses here. I'm gonna let it play, you can get my raw reaction. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, what is... Oh god. This escalated a lot quicker than I was expecting. Oh my god. As you can see, I found it quite effective my first go around, and it is the use of live action and everything, like it's horrifying. Then literally within 5 minutes, you are riding one of them in a race to some like cheesy turn of the century music. It just completely undercuts the tone. Like just listen to this. Oh god. Oh my gosh. What is this? These two events happen within the first 15 minutes. This game takes like 3 hours to beat. It never stops being like this. Horrifying 1 minute and extremely effective, and then the next minute it is just completely undercutting itself. And that's not getting into all the other issues like the graphical fidelity and everything. But I'm not here to do a full review of Horses. There's no point. It's garbage. Instead, what I want to talk about after playing it, why I think it was banned. So, in the last week or so before its release, it's going through certification for sale on Steam and Epic. Both ended up rejecting it. And the developer has commented to press that after getting that rejection, they quickly went in and removed and changed things in their game. However, both storefronts maintain their ban anyways. Now, Epic, I understand a little more, because at least as far as I'm aware, Epic doesn't have a whole lot of smut, despite some of the garbage that's on it. However, for Steam, this seems completely hypocritical, because, I mean, they have smut of the very explicit kind. And when it comes to objectionable content where you do horrible things, there's games like Hatred, where you're a spree shooter, or Kenshi, where you can play the game as a drug smuggling slaver. So obviously it's not the nature of the content in and of itself as to why it got banned on Steam, nor do I think it's any of the actual violence that happens in game, because I mean seriously, like look at the model and animation quality. Yeah, if you think about it, what's happening to the horses, the victims, is horrifying, but like just look at this when this one's getting beaten. Okay, it's silent, there's next to no sound, and just look at the animation quality. You really take it that seriously? It's kind of what I mean by like, this game can be effective and then it can completely undercut itself at the same time, multiple ways. But as to why I actually think it got banned, if we go back to that initial reveal with the horses, some live action footage there. And yeah, it's censored and super effective. However, this is one of the only points in the game where the live action footage is used in a actual horror sequence and used in this way. The 99% of the rest of the time you see live action footage in this game, it's like this here, where it's used as a shortcut for close-ups because their modeling and animation skills are nowhere near good enough to have close-up shots of things happening or have things like water pouring, for example, which to me, when I was initially playing and not thinking about the censorship that had already taken place, and I even believe I say something on stream about it, like that must have been a giant waste of money to be on location somewhere and filming stuff just as a shortcut for close-ups didn't make any sense to me. You're wasting money doing that. You could have done that, handled those different ways where you didn't need to use live action. And after chewing on it for a bit, it dawned on me, especially when thinking about when you get into the back half of the game, because you play through each day of the 2 weeks, there are multiple days in the back half where next to nothing happens, but then some of the most craziest stuff in the game and graphic happens in the last week. For example, there's a whole segment where you have to help a horse, quote unquote, get castrated, and it is absolutely horrific. But then there are days after that where literally nothing happens and you just do the menial like gameplay segments that's just regular farm work with nothing happening and next to no like interaction with any of the characters or anything. So my thought is there was more live action stuff filmed in service of the horror, but they removed it. I think part of why that might have happened was because they were not able to verify with Steam and Epic the age of the actors involved, or if they were actually nude, or like this was all actually consensual and not illegal. It could also be because the different countries that these storefronts operate in, the live action stuff was too much legal liability and maybe even pushed it to where it was into, AV material. There is also the fact that at the end of the game, there's a videotape you find and watch from the farmer that's part of the one puzzle in the game that I got stuck on because literally 3 hours of mindless, just click here, click here, click here, click here, you're done. No effort, or follow a trail. Oh, now 3 hours in when I'm exhausted, like now you want me to think. But anywho, in that VHS tape, there's also footage of animals getting it on. Honestly, now that I think about it, I'm really surprised YouTube didn't take the stream down and that they're allowing footage of this game to stay up. I'm genuinely surprised. Anywho, the tape shows animals getting at it. So I'm also wondering, was there, bestiality also in the game? Because there are two different scenes where the victims are essayed in a very violent way. So I'm wondering if maybe, animal stuff was also shown live action, and maybe Steam and Epic couldn't, for whatever reason, properly verify that this stuff was legal, or it just pushed the boundaries too much that like, whoa, this is actual AV content. We don't want that on our storefront since it's not, digital or animated or whatever. At least that's my thought on why this game got banned and stayed banned, despite the edits that they make. If you play it now, despite the objectionable nature of the content, there's really nothing in here that other games haven't had. Although granted, most of them have been more tasteful about it, as this just seems like exploitative trash. And what I mean by that, for example, is if all the victims were, African American, I think people would be labeling this as blaxploitation media, just for example. But those are my thoughts. If you're one of the people that's here for comic stuff, more is on the way. Hang tight. It's the holidays. I have a kid, got family stuff to deal with, and I've got a trip coming up I'm trying to get ready for. But more content is on the way. If you like weird, dark, and depraved stuff, go ahead, like, and subscribe, because more will be coming in the near future. If you've gotten this far, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Feels weird saying this in a video like this, but Merry Christmas if you're watching this around Christmas time. Bye-bye.
Oh, I feel your